Today's lesson is 3.9, Subtracting Decimals. Our essential question: how can place value help you subtract decimals? Common Core standard is performing operations with multi-digit whole numbers and with decimals to the hundredths. So we're unlocking the problem. Hannah has 3 and 36,000 kilograms of apples and 2 and 28,000 hundredths of kilograms of oranges. Hannah estimates that she has about 1 more kilogram of apples than oranges. How many more kilograms of apples than oranges does Hannah have? How can you use the estimate to decide if your answer is reasonable? So let's look over here. What operation will you use to solve the problem? You should say subtraction. Okay. Then it says, circle Hannah's estimate to check that your answer is reasonable. So let's do that. Circle Hannah's estimate. Well, her estimate is that she has 1 more kilogram of apples than oranges. Let's subtract 3, and so now we're going to subtract it. So first I'm going to subtract the hundredths, right? So here's my hundredths. I'm going to subtract 6 from 8, okay? But I can't subtract 6 from 8, so I'm going to have to borrow, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's make this be 16, and I'm going to make my tens place be 2, because I'm going to borrow 10 of the hundredths from the one long flat of tenths. So now I have hundredths. I'm going to do 16 hundredths minus 8 hundredths is going to give me 8 hundredths. Then I'm going to subtract the tenths and the ones, and I'm going to regroup as needed. So I have 2 minus 2, so I have 2 tenths minus 2 tenths, which is 0 tenths. Make sure I bring down my decimal. And now I have 3 ones minus 2 ones, which is going to give me 1 1. So my answer is going to be 108, or 1 and 8 hundredths. Now it asks me to draw a quick picture to check my work. So I'm going to take this large number, and again, the wholes is going to be 3, right? My flats are going to represent the 3, and then I have 3 tenths, 1, 2, 3, and I have 6 hundredths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hundredths. And I'm taking away 2 and 28 hundredths. Well, I can take away the 2 pretty easily. There's 1 and there's 2. But I can't take away, and I could take away the 2 tenths, or the 2 hundredths, so there's those. But I can't take away 8 from here. So I'm going to have to take this one, and I'm going to have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to have to borrow from it. And now I'm going to take away 8 of the hundredths. So I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm left with 1 whole. And I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I'm left with 8 hundredths. So Hannah has 1.08. Since 1.08 is close to 1, the answer is reasonable. Let's try this. We're going to use addition to check. Since subtraction and addition are inverse operations, you can check subtracting by adding. Step 1, let's find the difference. Subtract the hundredths first, then subtract the tens, ones, and tens, and regroup as needed. So right here I have a little blank space because I have to keep everything lined up. So in this space I'm going to put a 0. Okay. Now I can't take 3 from 0, so I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to make this be a 10, and this one's going to be a 1. I also can't take 6 from 1, so I'm going to make it be an 11, and I'm going to take a 3 from there. I also can't take 8 from 3, so I'm going to make that one be a 13. I'm going to borrow from the tens position. So now I can actually do my math. 10 minus 3 is 7. 11 minus 6 is 5. Bring my decimal down. 13 minus 8 is 4. I'm sorry, actually that's 5. Okay? because 5 plus 8 is 13. And then 0 from 0 is nothing. So my answer is 5 and 57 hundredths. Now to check my answer, I'm going to put this here. The 5, my answer is 5 and 57 hundredths. That's the difference. And then the number that I subtracted it by, which is right here. And then this should be the number I subtracted it from. So let's see if that works. If I'm doing the inverse operation. 3 plus 7 is 10, carry my 1. 5 plus 1 plus 6 is 12, carry my 1, put my decimal. 8 plus 1 is 9, plus 5 is 14. So my answer is 1420, and sure enough, there's the 1420. Is your answer correct? And the answer is yes. Because the difference, the answer is yes, because the difference added to the number I subtracted is equal to the number that I subtracted from. All right, let's do the estimating, find the difference. So let's estimate 5.83 is close to 6, 2.18 is closer to 2. So my 6 minus 2 is 4, so my estimate is 4. Now in the first problem, I can't take 8 from 3, so I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to make this become a 13, and I'm going to borrow one of my tenths, making it be a 9. So 13 from 8 is 5, 9 from 1 is 8, bring my decimal, 5 from 2 is 3. So my answer is 385, which is really close to the estimate of 4. Let's estimate it again. 4.45 is close to 4, 1.86 is close to 2, 4 minus 2 is 2. Now when I'm looking at it, when I'm doing my actual problem, I have 6 from 5, which I can't do, so I'm going to have to borrow, making this be a 15, and this one being a 3. Again, I can't take 8 from 3, so I'm going to make this one be 13, and this one be a 3. Now I have 15 minus 6, which is 9. Then I have 8 from 13, which is 5, bring my decimal, 3 from 1, which is 2. So the answer is 2 and 59 hundredths. On the next problem, 4 and 3 hundredths is going to be closer to 4, and 2 and 25 hundredths is going to be closer to 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. So let's do it now. Let's do the math now. We have 3 from 5, which you can't take, so I'm going to have to borrow. But I don't have anything to take from here because it's already 0. So I'm going to actually have to go to my whole number and take from my whole number. So let's do that. We've got, this is going to be 13. This is going to be 9. And this is going to be 3. 13 take away 5 is 8. 9 take away 2 is 7. My decimal, 3 take away 1, or 3 take away 2 is 1. 1.78 is close to my answer of 2, my estimate of 2. So let's find the difference on these. Again, I can't take away 0 from 3, so I'm going to borrow. I'm going to make my tenth is now going to be 6, and I'm going to have 10 hundredths. So 10 from 3 is 7, 6 from 4 is 2, and then I have my decimal. Now over here I don't have it quite lined up, so I'm not sure what I'm taking my 4 from, but remember, I have to put a 0 there. Can't take a 0 from 4, so I'm going to have to borrow, making this be 10. This is going to be 1, and I can take 1 from 0, so I'm fine there. Let's look over the other side. I can't take 8 from 3, so I'm going to have to borrow from my tens, making that one be a 0, and this one being a 13. So now I have 10 minus 4, which is 6. I have 1 minus nothing, which is 1. I have my decimal. And then I have 13 minus 8, which is 5. Okay, looking at the next one. Again, I have that space there, so I want to put a 0 because the 0 doesn't change the value of the number. And I have 0 from 7, which I can't do, so I'm going to need to borrow. So I'm going to make this be a 10, and I'm going to take away from my tenths place, which was a 7. I'm just going to look ahead just to make sure I don't need to continue borrowing. So I have a 5 and a 9. Well, I can't do a 5 and a 9, so I'm going to make this be 15, and I'm going to take from the tens place. So now I have 10 minus 7, which is 3, and I have 7 minus 6, which is 1. Bring down my decimal. And now I have 15 minus 9, which is 6. And the answer is 6 13/100ths. So 4 800ths is closer to 4. 1 7400ths is closer to 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. So my answer should be close to 2. My first part, 8 minus 4, is going to be 4. I can't take the 0. I can't take the 0 from the 7. So I'm going to have to borrow. I'm going to take from my ones position. I'm going to have 3 ones now. And then I'm going to have 10 tenths. 10 minus 7 is 3. Put my decimal, and then 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer is 2 34/100ths, which is close to the answer of 2. I'm going to do one more for you. Let's do this next one. So again, I have that blank spot, and what needs to go in that is going to be a 0, because that's essentially what it is. We just need to make sure we're lining up our decimals, and sometimes when we do that, we have these empty spaces, and zeros do not make a difference in the number when you're adding them at the end of a decimal. So I have 4 take away 0, which is going to be 4. I have 5. I can't take from 7, so I'm going to have to borrow. And if I borrow from this 3, well, this 3 I can't take from 6 anyway, so I'm going to have to borrow on this way. So it's kind of going to be a chain reaction here. So if I'm borrowing 2 here, I'm going to borrow from there, and I'm going to have 15 tenths. I'm going to have 2 ones. Can't take 2 from 6. I'm going to have to take from the 10 spot and add 10 there, so I'll have 12 from 6. So now when I'm doing the math, I have 15 minus 7, which is going to be 5. Bring down my decimal, and I have 12 minus 6, which is going to be 6. And I went to check to see what my estimate was, and I hadn't actually estimated. So 13 54/100ths is closer to 14, and 6 7/10ths is closer to 7. 7 plus 14 is 20, 14, going the other way. 14 minus 7 is 7, and 7 is very close to our answer. I'm going to do one more for you. I'm going to do the hot problem, just one of the hot problems here. It says 3. Okay, so I have 3 and, remember I have my and means the decimal, 72/100ths subtracted from 5. Subtracted from 5, remember my decimals, and 81/100ths. I can't take 1 from 2, so I'm going to have to borrow. So this will be 11. My 8 will be 7. Okay, so 11 minus 2 is 9. 7 minus 7 is going to be 0. Bring down my decimal, and 5 minus 3 is going to be 2. So my answer is 2 900ths. I'm going to do one more hot problem just so we kind of have an idea. Let's do the harder one, because this one right here is easy. You're just subtracting, right? You're going to subtract this number from this number, and you're going to get the n. This one's a little more tricky because I have the n here, subtracted this number, and I have this number, so I have to try and figure out what this number is. It's similar to this one, right? All right, so I know the answer. I know if this big number subtracted from this number equals this, then this number plus this number is going to give me this number. So what I would do, I would use inverse operations, and I would do 6.47 plus 4.32, and 7 plus 2 is 9, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 6 plus 4 is 10. So the answer to n is 10.79, and you can check it. 10.79 minus 6.47 should give you 4.32. Now the next one, they're giving me the bigger number. See how I have the bigger number to subtract from? What I don't know is the smaller number that is subtracted out of here. So if I take what it equaled and I subtract the bigger number, then I should get what the smaller number is here. So I'll let you do that on your own. I will be on the carpet if anyone needs me, and you may also work with a partner. All right, good luck, guys.